What's going on, my super fam? How have you guys been doing? So Hoyoverse has just surprisingly dropped the banner of our Raiden Shogun and Ayato. A little bit surprising to me because I was expecting that we wouldn't be seeing the 4-star roster until next week. But either way, since they've dropped this early, there are some interesting things I'd like to discuss, which is why we have today's video, in which there are 5 most important things you want to take into consideration before you make your pulls on either Raiden Shogun or Ayato's banner. And without further ado, let's just dive into the video. First off, we'll look into how good Raiden Shogun still is and whether or not she's still a worth it character for you to pull. And obviously the short answer for me is still going to be yes, because all of the Archon character in Genshin Impact is always going to be worth it for you to invest a little bit in. As generally speaking, Archon character have kind of like pretty much a future proof kind of things, because the thing that they are so good in, I haven't seen any of the character that can outdo them in that regard. Now in terms of Raiden Shogun specifically, not to mention the fact that Electro character have been buffed significantly after Dendro reaction have arrived, but even before that she's already one of the best character in the game, especially when it comes to the fact that she deals such high raw electro damage, even though she's only going to be on field for like 7 seconds, but that's more than enough time already to take out many of the enemies that she has to face. Not to mention her DPS capability, but also she has access to really good support kit for your team. The main thing being that she buffs your elemental burst damage of your team as long as her E skill is activated, which is something that it is on 100% of the time. And also she has that energy regeneration for your team as well. Therefore, whenever you run Raiden Shogun in your team, you're never going to be having to worry about energy regen. And that's only for her at C0. Not to mention if you're kind of like wanting to invest her all the way up to C2 or even C3, her constellation just makes her an insane character, because it is one of the most valuable constellation in the game that you can have if you're looking in terms of DPS damage. So if you're looking to invest into a constellation, Raiden Shogun is going to be one of the best character. Furthermore, if you are a free-to-play player, she does have one of the best free-to-play kits in the game, because even if you're using a free-to-play weapon, she is still going to be dealing a lot of damage. Not to mention the fact that she has access to the catch, which is her free-to-play BIS option. So we don't really have to discuss much in terms of Raiden Shogun's raw power, because we know that she's going to be a good character for quite some time. The only question being is that she's going to be a valuable character on your account right now, because the main thing I would say is that she, even though she is a good character, since she is a DPS character that stays on field for a bit of time to deal damage, she does have a competition here and there, mainly competing with other Electro characters who are in DPS role like Sino or Kuching or future Electro characters. So that's just something that you want to consider, and it's only like the main drawback of Raiden Shogun. Other than that, I don't think she has any drawback at this point, because she is a really good character. Moving on to Ayato. Now he is in a pretty interesting position. This, I believe, is the first rerun of Ayato. He hasn't been back since like March or something. Now the very good thing about Ayato is that he's a very cool character. You can't deny the fact that his E skill just looks so badass, one of the most impressive E looking skill in the game right now. Moreover, he is also a very easy character to play. You just need to set up your support character and let Ayato be on field, cast his burst, use his E skill, and then spam your normal attack, and that is it. Usually you don't have to worry too much about rotation when you have Ayato on your team. So especially if you're someone who's playing on mobile, where ease of gameplay is the thing for you most of the time, Ayato is a very suitable character. Aside from doing pretty decent hydro damage, he's also got access to pretty decent support for your team, in that his burst cast is really good. It stays on field for quite long duration with pretty wide area of effect. I think it should be on equal term with Ganyu's burst, so you can really make use a lot out of Ayato's burst capability. Now once again, the main thing with Ayato is that he's kind of like more of an on-field DPS, once again similar to that of Raiden. Therefore he is once again in similar competition with other Hydro DPS characters such as Child or Nilu, or even if you're running a DPS Kokomi, she is pretty much in the competition as well. Plus Ayato Hydro application isn't always as consistent as Kokomi can, so really if you're looking for a character who can support you with Hydro application, Ayato isn't always the best bet because you are required to build and exchange a lot with his damage in order for his energy recharge to meet the requirement. So right now I would say that unless you really need a Hydro character or you really like Ayato, then he's going to be a very good pool for you. But if you're someone who's still on the fence, then I would recommend you to actually wait and see which character is going to be coming towards patch 3.4 and then make your decision there, because that's going to be a lot easier for you. Next up, we'll look into how good the 4-star roster of the banner is going to be. Now we have already kind of predicted that Sarah and Rosaria is going to be available on this banner because those two characters haven't been back for a very long time, especially for Sarah, who actually is already been confirmed now that only appears on Raiden Shogun's banner, at least for the time being. And then there is Sayu as well. Now overall I would say that in terms of values, Rosaria will actually have the most value out of all the 4-star character here, since Rosaria is still one of the best 4-star cryo support character until now. She can also be a physical or a cryo DPS if you want her to, because her E skill and her off-field burst damage still do quite decent amount of damage. Not to mention Rosaria will gain a lot more value as the more constellation she has, and so getting Rosaria from this banner is going to be quite a win for you. Obviously I'm not saying that she's in must pools so that you should try and snipe her out of the banner, but overall her usage and her capability towards the team is still very good. And then next is going to be Sarah. Now I know that Sarah is one of, if not the best character in terms of buffing electro damage at this point. However, due to the fact that her buff duration is just so slow of only giving you a 6-second buff, makes that whenever you have Sarah on your team, it just creates a very strict rotation for the team, leaving you that feeling of not comfortable when playing the character, because you're always in a constant urge to switch back to Sarah so that your main DPS character can get the buff. Therefore, even though she has that really good buffing capability, generally everyone will still be using Bennett over her because he just has a lot more breathing room. And Sarah's most powerful potential is actually locked behind her C6, and that's when it focuses on providing your electro damage a lot more power. However, due to the fact that right now we can only get Sarah from Raiden Shogun's banner, very few people have access to Sarah's constellation, and even now I only have a C0 Sarah. Therefore, she's actually quite a hard character to play around with. And then there is Sayu. Now I have to say that she isn't really too bad, but she isn't that good either. She is really good when it comes to, you know, like a swirl electro charge team, but the amount of usage you have towards Sayu is almost none most of the time. So Sayu is kind of like in a position where if you're a new starting out account where you're like lacking in almost all of the healer, then Sayu is gonna be a healer replacement in that team, and then she will be switched out whenever you have access to a more meta healer on your account. Onto the weapon banner. Now I wouldn't say that it's too bad of a banner, however it's not that good either, because the two weapon on this time is just pretty niche. First of all, we have the Haran, and it's only and only suitable for Ayato at this point. So if you're someone who's looking to be very invested into Ayato, then obviously the Haran is the overall best option for him. But other than that, most of the time there won't be any character that can make use of Ayato's weapon. Not to mention, other than the Haran, he does have quite a lot of other options for him to be using. For example, the Jade Cutter, if you actually have that on your account, it is a very versatile weapon that can be used by almost any sword character. That is a much more better fitting option for him. And there's the Engulfing Lightning, in which I would say this is a much better option out of the two, where even though the Engulfing Lightning only seems to be working with Raiden Shogun at this point in time, time, but actually a lot of other characters can make use of it as well, mainly Shang Ling or any of the future character that requires energy recharge. So as more and more support poem character comes, you will actually find a lot more value with the engulfing lightning, not just on Raiden Shogun. And then finally guys, I want to discuss a little bit about the future banners prediction, because obviously you know that patch 3.4 is just right around the corner once Raiden and Ayato banners drop. And from all of the rumors we have seen that has been going on out there, we kind of already have an idea of which rerun character is going to make their appearance. Not to mention, first of all, Ayato is going to be coming. Now he is going to be a DPS character, so once again it's more or less going to be a preference character for you. However, that's also a huge thing because his gameplay is just amazing. It looks just badass, very matching toward his characteristic. And so I am sure that alongside with Wanderer, who so many people have been waiting for, Ayato is already on the same boat. So that's going to be a huge decision on your side as well, to see whether or not you should wait for Ayato rerun or just try and go ahead or pull for Raiden Shogun or Ayato. But that's just not it, because in patch 3.4 there may be characters such as Hu Tao, Yelan, and even Xiao is going to be coming back. Those are some of the top leeway character, especially Hu Tao, who have not been back for I would say over a year now. And I know that Hu Tao is a very popular character among the community. Therefore, a lot of us is going to be waiting for her return and save Primo Gems for her. We don't really have to discuss much about her capabilities because everyone knows her power level as a pyro DPS. There's also Yelan, who is coming back as well, the character that is considered to be, if not the best support character in the game right now, because her damage output as an off-field sub DPS is just amazing, alongside with the fact that she buffed your team's attack levels as well, so she is a very valuable character in a lot of our team comp. And there is Xiao. He is pretty much a preference character since he is a hyper carry, but we can't deny the fact that there are still a lot of people out there who want Xiao in their account because his gameplay is still very unique. Now this is not me saying that these characters are pretty much confirmed to be coming, it's just something that I kind of like repeating from all of the rumors that has been going on out there. However, considering the fact that it is going to be a Lantern Rite event festival patch, most of the time rerun characters are going to be leeway characters because it is the Chinese New Year. So guys, if you are someone who really love Raiden Shogun and Ayato's, then your pooling decision is pretty much set. However, if you are someone who's still on the fence, then I do kind of recommend you to wait until we actually know which rerun character is going to be coming back on the next patch, so that it helps you make the best decision possible for your spending of the Primo Gem. And so I hope that this video have been very valuable and helpful to you. If you do have any question, leave it down in the comment section and I will catch you there. That's all I have to say in terms of this banner, guys. Now if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to not miss out on my future Genshin videos. And with that, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on my next video.